ladies and gentlemen, I want to appreciate you for coming to this press engagement as we give an update on a couple of issues, many of which you have been following, and we thought it's important to update us on the latest on the goings on. When we last communicated, I did inform us that I had written to the Speaker asking her to convene the Parliamentary Commission meeting for us to the issues that are out there in the public, issues of accountability to do with the Commission, to do with the Speaker's office and Parliament in general. And because the Commission is the one that is in charge of this institution and especially the financial affairs of this institution. The Speaker wrote back to me, and in this her letter, she explained saying, you see, because of the budget process that is ongoing and so on, the Commission can only meet after 30th June. In other words, July, August, September, I don't know when, but she said there can't be a Commission meeting before 30th June. I understand the last time the Commission met was in August of last year. So if you're saying you can't have before 30th June, that means the year will have elapsed without the Commission sitting. And the question I've been putting to her is, who then sits as the Commission? Is the Speaker turning herself into the Commission and for that matter sitting and taking decisions on behalf of the Commission? Because that's ultra vires. She's the chairperson of the Commission, but she's not the Commission. Those are two distinct things. Just like she's the Speaker of Parliament, but she's not Parliament. She can't sit in her office and make laws. We make those laws with her presiding. So likewise, the Commission takes decisions with her chairing, but not her sitting and taking decisions. And so that's problem one. The second issue, I did ask her to recall Parliament for a plenary sitting for us to discuss these issues because these are critical matters. She did recall Parliament, as you saw. We raised these issues, but she did not give these matters adequate attention. If anything, she kept scapegoating until she quickly adjourned. I mean, you saw how she told a lie that, okay, let's first lay the papers, ministerial policy statements, afterwards we'll get to those issues. Then she quickly adjourned for obvious reasons, because there's a lot she's trying to hide. And we are saying we will not allow for anything to be hidden. We are going to be insistent on these issues. Because it's my job as the leader of the opposition to keep government in check. And as I have said severally, government includes the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. So as I insist on these issues, I don't have anything personal with the Speaker. I'm simply doing my job. The other issue was we asked Parliament to comprehensively respond to these concerns that have been raised in the public. That has not happened. So what I have done, I have written to a couple of entities. I've written to the IGG, Financial Intelligence Authority, DPP, and the Auditor General, their mandate to investigate matters of financial impropriety and other issues that are happening here at Parliament. Because those entities are put in place by law and they have different mandates, which mandates we expect them to operate within. And perhaps before I get to the detail of the letters, I'm going to show you the letters that I did write and the content therein. Just to remind us the issues that we're also putting before these entities that we want them to look into. Issues that we have severally talked about. One is per diem of the Speaker, because the Speaker, in a period of 164 days, actually 146 days, she received 2.6 billion shillings as per diem. When you do the tabulation, it shows that every single day she was being paid over $4,000 US. and yet the per diem of the speaker is $990. So we want that matter investigated because it's got to be explained. Did the speaker sit and decide, I have now changed my commission? She does not have those per diem. She does not have those powers. Number two, and even more problematic, is the speaker did not travel for all these engagements. In fact, one of them that happened in Midrand, South Africa, for which she got, per diem of 318 million shillings for 20 days. We understand there was no Uganda delegation to that meeting. So the speaker did not travel. Just like for many of these others. Maybe she went for a day or two or whatever, but she claimed all of this money. And yet, she is claiming a lot more than she's entitled to. So there are two problems there. You are entitled to $990 per day, but you are giving yourself $4,000 per day. Number two, that we don't believe the speaker traveled for all these days. Because the speaker has never been away for... What it would mean is that last year, she was away for half the year. That's not true. The speaker is always here, even when she will go away. There's a time she had twins. 2 weeks later, she was back to presiding over the house. So there's no evidence to show that last year, the speaker was away for half the year, for about 6 months. And so these are critical issues that we are concerned about. Of course, there's per diem to the clerk, which also needs to be explained because some trips he was meant to be here, and then the dates were clashing with another trip for which he got per diem. How does that happen? And he's the accounting officer. By the way, for him, his problems might be more because he's the accounting officer. He's the one who is meant to authorize all the releases, financial releases of Parliament. Except if he tells us that he has been torpedoed by the speaker, then he needs to explain that. But he's the accounting officer. So he has got to explain not just his per diems, but all these monies at Parliament. That's important. Of course, there's per diem of the speaker's husband. Whenever she travels, he goes with her. At some point, they were in Kigali and at the same time in Nairobi. How? Does not make sense. The other issues are staffing concerns, as we did raise them. That there's several people who have been hired. And that's even captured in the Auditor General's report. People who have got jobs here, they earn a salary, but they are hardly here. We understand they are operating in people's private businesses, but they earn a salary from Parliament. That's illegal. While the staff that we need to operate here cannot, be availed, contracts cannot be renewed, but you're hiring people from wherever, and they're earning money for not doing work. The other issue is, of course, the commission, people who sat and they awarded themselves money irregularly. That has got to be looked into as well. Then there's the speaker's community outreaches, where billions of shillings were put on the accounts of staff members of Parliament. They withdrew that money, took it to the speaker. There's no law providing for that. How did it happen? What did this money do? Billions of shillings. Because when you see the assistant director, 2.4 billion shillings was put on his account. He withdrew and took to the speaker. The principal protocol officer in the speaker's office, 1.1 billion shillings. Mr. Chris Obore, spokesperson of Parliament, 1.9 billion shillings was put on his account, which he withdrew, took to the speaker. We want that explained. Okay. Another officer in the speaker's office, 4.5 billion shillings. Put on his account, he withdraws, takes to the speaker. What are these activities? We want them explained because these are billions of shillings. We want accountability for this money, but also it's illegal for this money to council staff. And hopefully staff at Parliament will learn, because you see, they will cause you to commit an illegality, and it's not enough for you to explain and say, it wasn't my money, I simply withdrew it and took it to the speaker. How did you get involved? How is it that billions of shillings are wired to your account, your personal account? So they've got to explain these issues as well. There's also direct payments to the director in the leader of government business office, 4.4 billion shillings that was put on her account for certain works. Which ones? All of these have got to be explained. Even as we are writing to these entities. The other interesting issue is a contract. With me, I have a contract between the Parliamentary Commission and Mama Bukedia FM. This is a radio station belonging to the Speaker of Parliament. This contract is worth 3.13 billion shillings. Apparently to do parliament-related work. Which work is that? We are asking what procurement regulations were followed for this radio station of the Speaker to get this contract worth 3.13 billion shillings. What work is it that this radio station does that you, other media houses, don't do? Because many of you cover Parliament Live and so on. You're not paying this money. So what special work is the Speaker's radio station doing for Parliament for it to be awarded a contract worth 3.13 billion shillings? What procurement regulations were followed? But also, more disturbing, it's signed by staff in the office of the Speaker as managers of her radio station. How do you explain these ridiculous things? This is a contract worth 3.13 billion shillings. So aside from how it was given out, but the people signing on behalf of the radio station as managers of the Speaker's radio station, as staff in her office here. So all of these illegal acts have got to be thoroughly investigated. We demand answers. Now, I had talked about the letters that I have written to the different entities. The first one is to the Inspectorate of Government, and this letter was received. I am asking and urging the Inspector General of Government to investigate the financial impropriety, all these allegations, financial impropriety, irregular staff recruitment, this contract of the radio station, and so on and so forth, happening here at Parliament. I saw the Inspector General of Government saying that the Auditor General is investigating and so she's stepping aside. And we're saying, wait a minute, IGG, what exactly are you running away from? Why are you running away from your responsibility? Because the mandate of the IGG is clear. The IGG cannot say that there is somebody else who is investigating, in fact auditing, because the Auditor General audits, of course, as the investigator and so on. But the IGG cannot say, the Auditor General is investigating, so let me step aside. No. Do not run away from your responsibilities, except if you're saying you're too scared as well. So there's no law, because the mandate of the IGG is very clear. The mandate of the Auditor General is very clear. There's no overlap. So the IGG, there's no law that bans the IGG from investigating a matter just because somebody else is investigating. Because the IGG is an independent entity, statutory entity put in place by law. So we think that the IGG needs not to run away from her responsibility, which is very clear within the law. And the mandates are different. Besides, the Auditor General is an officer of Parliament. We understand that the Speaker asked the Auditor General to come and carry out an audit regarding these issues. We are not very convinced about that audit. Because one, the Auditor General is an officer of Parliament. Number two, the Auditor General sent the same team that has been auditing Parliament all this while to carry out this special audit as well. They are conflicted. We don't expect them to come up with anything new. To say what we audited the other time was not proper, so we have found some new issues, yeah? And so I've also written to the Auditor General asking him, number one, to send a new team, not the one that has been auditing Parliament, which is what he said. Because we believe that that particular audit team is just going to do window dressing and cleansing. And then the Speaker will flash a report and say, you see, the Auditor General has audited, everything is okay. So we don't believe in that audit by the same team which has been auditing Parliament all this while. We are saying there should be a different team. If anything, there should be a forensic audit, because you see, these are billions of shillings that we're talking about. So we are telling the Auditor General, take this audit very seriously, dig deeper. You cannot have that same team that has been coming all the while. And that's one of the letters that I've written to the Auditor General. And in essence, that's why we are telling the IGG, you cannot say the Auditor General is auditing, because the Auditor General is actually part of us. Of course, yes, he has got a legal mandate, but he's part of us. And now that the Speaker has told him, do an audit, what guarantee do we have that that will be a proper audit? That won't just be doing window dressing. So we are telling the IGG, please, do not run away from your responsibility. Your mandate is very clear. Of course, the other letter to the Auditor General, we are asking for authenticated records of payments under the Parliamentary Commission and so on, because those are important for us as leaders, even as we carry out investigations, even for these different arms and entities that are executing their mandate. I also have written to the DPP. This letter was received yesterday as well. The DPP is an independent entity, but the DPP can be requested and urged to cause an investigation. And therefore, the DPP gets to direct police to carry out investigations. And that's why I have written to the DPP, urging her to cause an investigation, because these are very serious matters that should actually, ultimately, we believe, lead to prosecution, because there's lots of glaring irregularities. But anyhow, we are asking the Director of Public Prosecution cause an investigation in these matters. And our hope, again, is that the DPP will not say, but there are other people investigating. There's no harm at all. These are all independent institutions that have different mandates. Their mandates don't overlap. Otherwise, then, we would have had only one. We would not have IGG, we would not have DPP, we would not have Auditor General, and so on. But they're all in place with different mandates. Our expectation is that they will each carry out their mandate to get to the bottom of these issues. I've also written to the Financial Intelligence Authority, which is another legal body that has got a clear mandate. The Financial Intelligence Authority, our hope is that they will follow up on these monies, billions of shillings, that have been going onto people's accounts, bank accounts, withdrawn surreptitiously, and so on. Our hope is that Financial Intelligence Authority, which is empowered by the Anti-Money Laundering Act, will dig deep into these issues, because there are clear, glaring issues of money laundering. Billions of shillings onto people's accounts, and then they are withdrawn. Immediately, what exactly is this money doing? Going onto people's individual accounts. Again, like I've said, our hope is that they will each carry out, and that they will not try and hide within legalities. As we have heard the IGG say, the Auditor General is investigating. No, the Auditor General has got his mandate, you have got your mandate. Okay? Carry out your mandate, because each of these is an independent institution. There are some other issues of concern. We have seen the Speaker of Parliament coming out to say she has got the support of Mr. Museveni, as if to say that all of you Ugandans who are asking her for answers, you can go to hell. We want to remind the Speaker of Parliament, who we respect because of the office she occupies, and that's not in doubt. We're not asking these questions out of disrespect, as some people are saying. How can the Speaker be disrespected? Well, the Speaker occupies a public office. The money we are talking about is public money. So it's our job to ask for accountability for public money. So stop trying to trip us by saying we are being disrespectful. There's nothing disrespectful about what we are doing. about us asking questions. And we are not going to stop asking questions of accountability. So again, we want to ask government, if it is true, as the speaker is trying to paint it, because she seems to say, government is behind me, I'll not be investigated. What happened to the government policy of zero tolerance to corruption? Was it just another phrase that was said to excite the people of Uganda? Will this be treated like the Mabati saga, where some powerful people were ignored, even when they were involved in stealing Mabati, iron sheets belonging to Karamoja? So our hope also is that government will come out clearly, because the speaker seems to say she has the backing of government. You don't have the backing of government to involve yourself in financial impropriety. Respond to these issues as yourself. Speaker has also been on the loose, blaming everybody she can blame. She has blamed homosexuals. I saw her blaming the Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga, saying these old women who are fighting us, don't know what they left in the speaker's office and they want to reclaim. And she said, you see, they're developing their areas, Kamuli is developed. Why don't they want us to develop our other areas? It is clear who she was talking about. She was talking about the Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga. I don't know if there are any personal issues between those two leaders. That's none of my business. My business is that the speaker accounts for taxpayers' money. I don't know who next she's going to blame, because now every day she's looking for someone to blame. If it is not homosexuals, now it is Kadaga, and tomorrow I don't know who. I don't care who might have issues with her, as she does claim that those who are raising these issues, they are fighting her. I don't know. I don't care. What I care about is that she gets to account for these taxpayers' money. That's what is important to me and to the people of Uganda. That's what is important to us. So stop giving us these excuses, finding somebody to blame. You respond to the issues we are asking about. It is possible you have people, all of us in politics have people who don't like us, obviously. I'm not naive to think that as leader of the opposition, as MP in Akawa West, and whichever other positions I hold, I'm not naive to think that everybody likes me. No. But you see, I can't use the excuse of those who don't like me by not responding to critical accountability issues. No. Let's not run away from accountability. Everybody has people who don't like them. But we demand that accountability is attended to. And what we are asking of the speaker, part of accountability, for example, for some of these trips, which she probably did take, if you cannot account, refund the money. Yes. Of course, there are other things which there is no other way she can sanitize them, yeah? But for these trips, which we believe some of which you did not take, because you cannot be in Kigali for the Yala Games and in Nairobi at the same time, it doesn't make sense. Refund that money. Because it's taxpayers' money, that's part of being accountable. And I want to give us an example, because I've seen some people talk about it in my own situation. I went to Nairobi on behalf of Parliament to visit the Honorable Segirinya Mohammed, because he's on the side which I lead, the opposition side. And I gave indication that I'll go for one night. I'll be there for one night and return to take care of other responsibilities that I do have. So I did go, came back, gave a report. I interacted with the doctors, gave a report to Parliament about the progress of this member and so on. A couple of days later, I saw a reflection on my account of money. They had processed money for 5 days, as opposed to 1 day, for which I was in Nairobi, which I had indicated I'll be going for. But I'm told they were processing for several others, so it was done collectively. I said, okay. But as is normally the case, as we should be accountable as leaders, when you travel, because sometimes it might be you have gone somewhere and then you realize I need to return for some other engagements. you submit your boarding passes. We have an office here at Parliament called the Accountability Office, where those boarding passes are submitted, and so the days tabulated. Any extra days for which you were not where you were meant to be, they are deducted off your emoluments for the following month. And so I did submit all of that because I said, no, I was there for one night, so I should not be paid for 5 days. But that process delayed. And so the money was not deducted off the March emoluments. So I was told it will be deducted off the April emoluments. I said, no, I'm not going to wait for that. So I withdrew money from my account for the 4 days, and I went and deposited that money in the accountability office, and I got a receipt for it. Because I said, I don't want this matter to take longer than it should. Yeah, so if you're waiting to deduct it off my pay of April, I'm not going to wait for that. I don't want people to misuse it. So I withdrew money for the 4 days, and I paid it back to Parliament. That's what we ought to do as accountable leaders. Even though, like I'm saying, I did ask for, I was meant to be there for one night, but in process, it can happen. Because there were many other people going for different things still in Nairobi. That's okay. Because, like again, I've said, sometimes you can go planning to be somewhere for a week, and you realize you have to come back for whatever reason. You account. How? That money ought to be deducted. If it takes long to be deducted, as was in my case, you take it and pay back that money. That's what we ought to do as accountable leaders. And so that's my urge to the Speaker. Some things she cannot explain, and we have got to have proper accountability, prosecution where need be, and so on. But there are those where, if you were in Kigali, the money that you got for Nairobi, you take it back. Because you couldn't have been in two places at the same time. And then, for Kigali, we shall demand and say, but your per diem is meant to be $990. Why were you paid $4,000 per day? Take back that money also. That's part of being accountable as leaders. I also wanted to talk about the threats. We have been seeing whistleblowers and other people, members of the public, who are raising these concerns, and we understand their threats to their lives. I want to urge, whether it be the Speaker and other leaders against whom concerns are being raised, let's not be cowards. Let's not operate in a cowardly manner. Don't attack the messenger. Respond to the message that they are raising. Respond to the issues that they are raising. And by the way, we have a law that protects even whistleblowers, the Whistleblowers Protection Act. Our hope is that these people will be safe, protected by the law. But again, I want to appeal to the Speaker and other leaders against whom issues are being raised. Don't commit two offenses. Deal with this issue. Yeah? If you want to go after people who are raising concerns, that's a cowardly thing to do. Our hope is that they will respond to this issue. And of course, people do ask us, Joel, don't you fear for your life and all these other people that are raising these concerns and so on. I'm doing my job. And so no one will intimidate me. No one. Because this is what I ought to be doing. Finally, the issues we are asking of are not so peculiar. Some of you who are following news, the Speaker of the South African National Assembly, which is their parliament, the Right Honorable Mapisa Nkakula, is under investigation. In fact, police raided her home, several investigations. They're investigating her for having received bribes from contractors to the tune of 120,000 US dollars. Now that's even peanuts in comparison to the monies we are asking for accountability about our Speaker and our Parliament here. But that's to show you that no one should be above the law. South Africa is not a perfect nation, but they're showing that even a Speaker of Parliament can be investigated. So our Speaker of Parliament is not above the law. She too ought to be investigated. We had hoped that she would come out much earlier before investigations. Come out, respond, and give accountability. but she has not. And so we are saying she's not above the law. And again, for the avoidance of doubt, we respect the Speaker and her office. But we are not going to keep quiet when it comes to accountability issues. No. And no one will intimidate us. So we want responses to these issues. Our hope is that these offices that we have written to will take action immediately. I thank you. And that's a real maybe let's ask questions afterwards, then I can respond to them all. After Uganda for why not Swahili, for example? Kale, olwaleero tubayise nate nsonga ez'enjawulo mujjukira twali wano etwogera ku nsonga ezigenda mu maaso wano mu Parliament era nga tubanja akiro okuva ekitongole kya Parliament ne Speaker akikulira. Twasaba Speaker ebintu byalinga bisatu. Okusookera ddala ayite commission meeting kuba commission yetwala Parliament eno era yebisalawo ssente mmeka ezikozesebwa ku ki byonna yebisalawo nga commission era nga commission tetuulanga ne muwandiikira ebbaluwa. Oweekitiibwa Speaker yaddamu ebbaluwa yange nga annyonnyola ebintu bingi nti kaakati tuli mu process ya budget, commission tesobola kutuula. Eno ebbaluwa gye yaddamu n'angamba nti ekitono ennyo commission ejja kutuula eyo nga tutandise Julaayi, tumazeko June, tutandise Julaayi. Neŋŋamba ate bijja biti ebyo kubanga ekitegeerako nti commission yasemba okutuula mu August omwaka oguwedde. Kakati bw'ogamba nti tujja kutuula commission eyo mu Julaayi n'okweyongerayo omwaka guba guweze, nga neebuuza ani atuulanga commission okusalawo ensonga zino eza ssente zikozesebwa Parliament, kubanga commission yeevunaanyizibwa ku nsonga ezo. Era nga njagala kujjukiza Speaker nti tayinza kulowooza nti ayinza okutuula ye nga ye n'asalawo nti kakati afuuse commission, yakulembera commission naye ye nga ye si ye commission. Just like nga bw'ali Speaker wa Parliament naye si ye Parliament, tasobola tuula nga ye n'agamba nti kakati mpisiza etteeka. Nedda, alina tukubiriza ne tuliyisa. So ne commission erikuba member ab'enjawulo nga nange gwendi. So tayinza kugamba nti kati ajja tuula ye nga ye asalawo kyayagala osalawo nga commission. Nedda. So kino nkiwakanya nakyo kuba toyinza kugamba nti omwaka gujja kuyita commission tetuula. Kakati emirimu gitambula gitya? Ani atuulanga commission n'asalawo olwa commission? Ensonga endala twamusaba ayite olukiiko lwa Parliament twogere ku nsonga zino. Olukiiko n'aluyita, nyina mwamulaba n'abuzaabuza n'alimba n'okulimba kubanga yagamba nti LOP katumalize baminisita okulenga ministerial policy statements zino, then ensonga ezo tuzoogereko bulungi. Niyo olwamala okulenga ministerial policy statements Parliament n'agigalawo n'adduka emisinde. Ningamba bannange, waliwo ebifo by'obeeramu ate nga tulina kweswaza nnyo, tubeera mulimba kutuuka awo. Naye anyway ekyo kyalaga nti Oweekitiibwa Speaker alina kyakweka, alina kyatayagala kunnyonnyola ku nsonga zino, ate nga ffe tugamba tetugenda kumukkiriza kukwekereza kintu kyonna ku nsonga zino. Ekirala twasaba Parliament eveeyo mu ngeri ennambulukufu ennyonnyole ensonga zino, eddemu bannayuganda ebibuuzo bye babuuza. Ekyo nakyo tekyakolebwa. Mpandiise amabaluwa nga mpandiikira ebitongole eby'enjawulo, mpandiikidde IGG, mpandiikidde Financial Intelligence Authority, mpandiikidde DPP, mpandiikidde ne Auditor General nga mbasaba okunoonyereza ku nsonga zino zigenda mu maaso mu Parliament, kubanga buli omu ku bitongole bino balina mandate yaabwe okunoonyereza ku nsonga zino. Naye n'ebyokusooka okubajjukizaamuko ku nsonga ze tugamba nti twagala tufune ennambulukufu ennungi, kubanga tuzze tuzoogerako. Abamu bayinza okwebuuza nti naye nsonga ki ezo? Okusookera ddala nsonga eza PDM eza Oweekitiibwa Sipiika. Omwaka oguwedde twakitegeera nti yatambula mawanga ag'enjawulo okumala emyezi nga 6 era n'afuna PDM wa buwumbi 2 ne miliyoni 6, 2.6 biliyoni. Ekizibu ekiri ku nsonga zino, okusookera ddala si kituufu nti Sipiika mu mwaka oguwedde yali taliiwo okumala emyezi nga 6. Kubanga ne bwe yafuna abalongo wayitawo weeks 2 n'akomawo wano mu Paalamenti okugikubiriza. Posi twamugamba Sipiika nga ng'oyanguyeeyo naye anyway eddembe linga omuntu waba awulira nti kati ali ready. So kakati gino emyezi 6 omwaka oguwedde nga Sipiika taliiwo yalidde, kubanga si kituufu ekyo. Kiba kitegeeza nti engendo ezimu teyazitambula ne ssente yazifuna. Tulina n'engendo ezimu ze twawulira nti tewaliyo delegation okuva e Uganda naye ate yafuna zi PDM wano. Ekirala ekyenkiza ennyo, PDM ono yamwongeramu mumenyi w'amateeka, kubanga Sipiika bw'atambula wabweru w'eggwanga buli lunaku aweebwa $909 muyamba okufuna woteeri, ekyokulya n'ebirala byonna babifactoringamu omwo. Naye ate bw'olaba ssente zino ezaamuweebwa buli lunaku yali aweebwa $400 ezisukka mu 4,000. Kakati Sipiika yatulayo nga ye n'asalawo nti kakati kaneeyongeze, kuba talina buyinza obwo, si ye yeesalirawo ye nga ye. Ekikola atya? Nga tugamba twagala embalirira ku nsonga ezo. Ekirala of course twabyogerako, komishoni yatuula, abakomissionazi ne yali leader of opposition ne beegabira ssente awo. Engeri y'obumenyi bw'amateeka buli omu n'akyogeddeko, ne Uganda Law Society efulumiza ekiwandiiko n'abalala nga bagamba kino kyali kya bumenyi bw'amateeka. Waliwo abalowooza nti zino ensonga za NUP nakiyo munene n'abakukundula mu by'amateeka bakudde ne bagamba kino kikyamu. Abaali ba leader of opposition bonna baavaayo ne bagamba kino kikyamu. In fact ne yali excuse yali yeweebwa mu kusooka nti waliwo petition ba leader of opposition abedda bwe baleeta petition nga baagala akasiimo bakyegaana bonna. So kati nga tugamba ensonga eno nkyamu nga tugyagalako obulambulukufu obulungi. Ekirala PDM ez'abantu abalala nga clerk wa Parliament era naye yatambula engendo ez'enjawulo ezimu nga zikontana. Olaba dates zalina okubeera e Kenya ate bagamba alina awalala kijja kitya, ate ssente ezo zonna n'azifuna. Naye ate ekyenjawulo ku clerk wa Parliament, clerk ye accounting officer owa Parliament ye. Kitegeeza nti buli ssente efuluma erina okubeerako omukono gwe. Kakati naye alina bingi ebyokunnyonnyola. Yayongeza Sipiika ssente zino mu ngeri etategeerekeka, yabikola. Oba maybe abeeyo agambe nti Sipiika yansinza amaanyi nga sirina kyakukola, naye nga ye talina bwabiddukamu bino ebintu kubanga bwe buvunaanyizibwa bwe ye nga accounting officer. Of course mulimu n'endala eza abantu abalala PDM nga Oweekitiibwa Magogo. Ensonga endala yali ya ku bakozi bano ku Paalamenti nga bwe tubiwulira babawo emirimu mu ngeri etategeerekeka. Ne Auditor General yakinokolayo mu lipooti ye ng'agamba nti abantu bangi abaweebwa emirimu naye tubanoonya wano tubalaba baliwa bafuna omusaala, era nga bwe tubiwulira bateekebwa ku payroll ne bafuna emisaala, naye ate bali balina gye bakolera eyo mu bizinesi z'abantu ab'enjawulo naye nga bafuna omusaala wano. Kikyamu eno nga abakozi abalina okubeera wano contract ziweddewo tugamba muzize bujja, abagamba tewali ssente naye waliwo ssente ezikola ebintu ebirala bitategeerekeka. Ensonga endala community outreach ezo eza Sipiika, ssente mpitirivu buwumbi na buwumbi ezateebwa ku akawunti z'abakozi wano ku Parliament. Omu assistant director wa HR account ye bateekako obuwumbi 2 million 4 2.4 billion nazijjayo nazitwalira speaker. Omulala principal protocol officer mu office ya speaker 1.1 billion kawumbi. Omulala Chris Obole ono yayogerera parliament 1.9 billion akawumbi kamu 1 million 9 zateekebwa ku account ye naye nazijjayo nazitwalira speaker zakola mirimu gya speaker. Mirimu ki egyo gitegerekeka. Ne officer wo omulala yaweebwa ku account ye kwateekebwako obuwumbi 4 million 5 mwana 4.54 billion. Nazijjayo bonna bazijjayo bazitwalira speaker okukola emirimu ki egyo gya community nga bwe bagamba. Mbalirira eriwa era kijja kitya nti buno buwumbi na buwumbi buteekebwa ku account z'abakozi wano era n'abakozi wano ku parliament balina okwegendereza wakati balina okunnyonnyola bakristo gole n'abalala obuwumbi n'obuwumbi buteekebwa butya ku account zaabwe tukimenya amateeka ate ne bazijjayo ne baziwa speaker tumanyi oba yabawaako oba ki ebyo banaabinyonnyola naye kino kimenya amateeka. So kakati n'abakozi wano ku parliament balina okwegendereza kubanga bajja bakozesa ensobi anti kakati ku account y'enkya bajja teekako sente zino zijjeeyo zindeetere naye kati eri mu records kiraga nti gwe wazifuna ofuna zaaki toyinza gamba nti yali mistake nange nazisangayo busanzi nenzijjayo nenzitwalewo speaker. Ekitegeeza nabo baabirimu bino mpango buno nga balina okwennyonnyolako. Bano era mu office ya lead of government business account kwateekebwako obuwumbi 4 million 4 zino zakola mirimu za office of government business. Office ey'Oweekitiibwa Nabbanja oyo naye alina okunnyonnyola sente zino zaali zaaki era nga lwaki ziteekebwa ku account ye ng'omuntu. Ensonga endala eno contract wakati wa parliament ne radio gye bayita Mama Bukedya FM. Eyo radio yakitegeerako nti radio ya Oweekitiibwa speaker yennyiniyo. Radio eno yaweebwa contract ya buwumbi 3 million 13 okukola emirimu gya parliament. Mirimu ki egyo twebuuza era bayita mu procurement regulations ki kubanga wano TV ez'enjawulo radio ez'enjawulo mukola emirimu gya parliament mutulaga live wali nga muteesa n'ebirala mu buno obuwumbi nga temubufuna. Radio ya speaker yanjawulo ki okufuna obuwumbi buno obusoba mu 3. Ate n'ekirala abantu abateeka omukono ku ndagaano eno nga bamaneja ba radio ya speaker bakola mu office ya speaker wano. Kati ebintu ebimu bikwewuunyisa contract tetegeerekeka procurement regulations n'ebirala buwumbi 3 n'okweyongerayo naye ate abasayininze nga bamaneja ba radio ya speaker eri Bukedya bakola wano mu office ye. Kati kikulaga nti tebitegeerekeka. Ensonga eno ng'erina okunnyonnyoka obulungi. Amabaluwa ge nabategeezezaako ge nawandiise yasookedde ddala ya IGG Oweekitiibwa Betty Kamya muwandiikidde nga musaba anoonyereze ng'ekitongole si ye ng'omuntu ekitongole ekya IGG kinoonyereze ensonga ze zigenda mu maaso mu parliament empitirivu. Nawulidde IGG Oweekitiibwa Betty Kamya yagambye nti Auditor General ali mu kunoonyereza ku nsonga zino kakati nze nkyabivuddeko. Oweekitiibwa Betty Kamya munaye teweesuulirayo kwa naggamba obuvunaanyizibwa bwo mu mateeka buli kiriya bulambo bulukufu bulungi. Toyinza gamba nti Auditor General ali mu kuauditinga kakati nze sijja kunoonyereza. Nedda. IGG kitongole ekyetengerera so tekiyinza gamba nti omulala ali kunoonyereza nze mbivuddeko. Kiki kyotya kubanga etteeka likuwa bulungi obuyinza okunoonyereza ku muntu yenna ku nsonga zonna nga tolina na bwe weebuuzizaako. Katoyinza gamba nti ate kakati Auditor General ali mu kukola audit nze mbivuddeko. Nedda. Kubanga obuzibu obuli ku nsonga wa Auditor General era naye namuwandiikidde nga mutegeeza nti okusookera ddala twakitegeddeko nti speaker yasabye Auditor General asindike wano ttiimu banoonyerezeemuko naye tiimu yasindikiddwa Auditor General ye tiimu ebadde auditinga Parliament emyaka gino gyonna kakati kyanjawulo ki bagenda okukola era bagenda kusiiga kazigo wayitewo ebbanga ttono Speaker ave yagambye nti mulaba Auditor General afulumiza ripooti ng'etwejeereza tetulina musango gwonna tugamba ekyo nedda eyo tiimu ebadde wano ng'enoonyereza tegenda ate egambe nti bye twanoonyereza luli nga tuggyeyo ebyaddala kiba kyetaagisa tiimu mpya sinakindi n'okugendera ddala obuziba mu nsonga zino kyengamba Auditor General era ntusaba tufunire ripooti ez'enjawulo. So kakati Auditor General ngeri, by the way, officer wa Parliament, Auditor General mukozi wa Parliament netteeka bwe ligamba is an officer wa Parliament. Kakati yes alina obuvunaanyizibwa anoonyereze naye ate tugamba IGG toyinza gamba nti engeri gyali mu kunoonyereza ze mbivuddeko nedda era nga IGG tumusuubira okunoonyereza ku nsonga zino mu ngeri ennambulukufu. Omulala gw'empandiikidde ye DPP muwandiikidde nga musaba alagire okunoonyereza kubanga DPP akolagana ne poliisi n'ebitongole ebirala ddala poliisi era nga yatera ogiragira nti kakati munoonyereze ku kino ye nga ye tanoonyereza naye aodaringa so nga kyemusaba DPP kitongole ekyetengeredde era nga tekirina kubeera na kutiisibwa katusuubire DPP anaakozinga investigation ku nsonga zino. Omulala gw'empandiikidde Executive Director wa Financial Intelligence Authority era kino ekitongole kiteekebwawo etteeka eriyitibwa anti-money laundering kubanga bino bituze tulaba ssente buwumbi na buwumbi okuteekebwa ku akawunti z'abantu abamu bakristo gole n'abalala ekyo kimenya amateeka ssente ze bakukusa zaaki era nga tusabye Financial Intelligence Authority enoonyereze ku nsonga zino. Katusuubire nabo tebagambe nti kakati bali abalala gye bali ffe tetujja kuyingira edda bino ebitongole buli kimu kyetengeredde nga kyo era nga tekiyinza gamba nti waliwo abalala banoonyereza ffe tetugenda kubyenyigiramu bino ebintu. Buli omu yeetengeredde ye nga ye. Ensonga endala tulebe Speaker ng'avaayo mirundi egy'enjawulo juzi yagambye nti ne Mwami Museveni ampagira gavumenti empagira ne tugamba maybe gavumenti etunyonnyole emuwagira Speaker ku nsonga ki kubanga baatugamba nti nga gavumenti bafulumya policy gye bayita zero tolerance to corruption tebagenda kuttira muntu yenna liiso ssente y'omusolo byakyuse oba nene ensonga naye bagenda kikwata nga bakwata ensonga z'amabaati abanene ababba amabaati ga Karamoja abamu baabaleka ne bagendera abamu. Tugamba nti tetwagala muntu yenna kubiikirira ow'ekitiibwa Speaker ku nsonga zino. Speaker ze ng'afuna lwekwaso twali mu Parliament neyekwasa abali b'ebisiyaga nti be bamulwana tugamba bannayuganda abakubanja embalire ku ssente zaabwe ate kakati obayise bali babisiyaga bannayuganda tubawe ekitiibwa zino ssente zibabanjako embalire ssente zaabwe katoyiza bagamba temulina ebibuuzo bimuna kumbuuza mmwe muli bali babisiyaga lwaki tufuna lwekwaso lwaki toddamu ebibuuzo byebakubuuzizza kati juzi namulabye nga yeekwasa ow'ekitiibwa Kadaga yali Speaker n'agamba nti bano abakazi abakadde ennyo abali mu ofiisi ya Speaker balwana okweddiza ofiisi yange ewa Speaker bo bakulaakulanyiza ebitundu byabwe ekamulina walala ebitundu ebirala. Simanyi oba ow'ekitiibwa Anita Among n'ow'ekitiibwa Rebecca Kadaga balina entalo zaabwe ng'abantu simanyi tebinkwatako ze ebinkwatako ze ssente zino zetubanjako embalirira so tusaba ow'ekitiibwa Speaker nga tukuwa ekitiibwa ku lwa ofiisi gy'otuulamu neddamu ensonga zino ekiraba kwebuzaabuza ng'ofuna kati tetumanyi mulala gwagenda kunenya kyonanwana n'onanwana naki kale ffenna munnanga bali mu byobufuzi tulina abatulwana nange ndi wano nga LOP ng'omubaka wa Nakawa West nina abatanjagala ffenna buli omu ne kakati siyinza kwekwasa abatanjagala nga mbuuzibwa ebibuuzo eby'enkizo so kakati Speaker yes naawe olina abatakwagala nga naffe ffenna tulina abatulwanyisa mu ngeri ez'enjawulo naye leka kwekwasa abo simanya abakulwanyisa simanya ki tamu ssente y'omuwa omusolo eno engeri gye wagikozesaamu kitubuuza bannayuganda kye baagala oddemulekerawo okufuna lwekwaso ate nga sipiika ayinza n'okweyamba neetaasa ku nsonga ezimu of course walina okubeerawo okunoonyereza bulyawo ne zigenda ne mu mbuga z'amateeka ne kati waliwo ezimu zasobola okutereeza nga bukyali kati nga zino tripu zeyatambula nti oli Kigali ate ekiseera kyekimu oli Nairobi sente zikumyewo ate olumala okukomyawo eza Nairobi n'ez'ekigali nazo olina okukomyawo ezimu kubanga padiyemu yo tugimanyi ya $909 ne kati gwe wa 4,000 n'okweyongerayo buli kanaku ez'endala zikomyewo kubanga bwe kirina okubeera njagala ekyokulabirako juzi nagenda nga nkikiridde Parliament okulambula ku ekitiibwa Ssenyonyi ali mu ddwaliro e Nairobi era nendaba n'abasawo nenkomyawo ripooti eri Parliament ku mbaka waffe kubanga ali ku sayidi gye nkulembera era mu kiseera ekyo nategeeza nti nja kugenda maleyo olunaku lumu komewo okukakalaba emirimu emirala era nenkomawo kooti nenjiwaayo wayitawo ennaku nendaba akawunti yange nga kuliko sente zigenzeeko nga nnyingi okusinziira ezo ezaali zirina okugendako wali walina kugendawo sente za lunaku lumu hoteri n'ebirala ngeri gye nagenda mu mirimu ebitongole gya Parliament era ate nalaba nga bataddeko sente za nnaku 5 ne ŋŋamba kino si kituufu era nga bwe tutera okukola oba olina gy'ogenze oluusi kizoka alina gy'alaze alina kumala ennaku 7 naye n'afuna ebimukomyawo nga bukyali okukwata boarding passes n'ozitwala wano tulina office gye bayita accountability office n'oziwaayo era ne batabulating ennaku ezayitamu nga toliiyo omwezi oguddako sente zo kwe batema sente ezo era zino ezange ne ŋŋamba nti nali wakubeera lunaku lumu niba processing ennaku 5 kubanga waliwo abantu abaali bagenda abaka Nairobi ku nsonga ez'enjawulo so baali processinga lumu ne ŋŋamba kale mukikoze bwe mutyo kakati muzididacting ezo naye ate process yalwawo era omwezi guno sente nendaba nga tebazitemyeko nembuuza ne baŋŋamba nti abajja zitemako mu April kubanga process zalwawo processing ebyo byonna neŋŋamba sigenda kulinda mwezi ate gujja lwaki kirinda nekirwawo ekintu kino nenzigyayo sente ku akawunti yange ez'ennaku 4 nenzitwala mu accountability office era ne bampa general receipt eno ya gavumenti ino kopi yaayo nga nzizizaayo sente ez'ennaku 4 kubanga nali Nairobi lunaku lumu bwekirina okubeera bannange yoyo accountability owa ddala era ne sipiika kyetumugamba nti sente zewali tulina kufuna zikumyewo sente ezo zamuwa musolo era nga zirina kukola ku bintu ebirala ensonga endala ya abantu bangi bazze bavaayo nga boogera ku nsonga zino tukitegeddeko nti bali mu kutiisibwatiisibwa njagala kubira omulango w'ekitiibwa sipiika n'abakulembeze abalala abazze boogerewako ku nsonga zino ez'enjawulo muleme kubeera batiitiizi nakola bikolwa bya kitiitiizi kutiisatiisa bantu muddeemu bannayuganda bye babuuza munalowooza nti mujja tiisatiisa abantu aboogera ku bintu bino bameka kati nga nze abantu bambuuza naye Ssenyonyi totidde n'abaka abalala aboogera ku nsonga zino n'abantu abalala tetulina kye tugenda kutya kino kyenkola buvunaanyizibwa bwange kulondoola sente y'omuwumusolo so sipiika sirina kye mutyako muwe ekitiibwa nga sipiika era leka nsubira mpa ekitiibwa nga leader opposition ne mu kumuwa ekitiibwa nina okumuwuuza ensonga zino nga twagala embalirira ku ssente y'omuwumusolo so tuleme kutiisatiisa bannayuganda ababuuza ebibuuzo bino kubanga kye bakola sente zino zaabwe so toyinza batiisatiisa lwaki onyogerako naki sente zize alinako omugabo kubanga asasula omusolo buli kiseera n'ekisembayo abazze bagoberera mulabe nga sipiika wa South Africa ali mu kunoonyezebwako era poliisi yagenze mu maka ge neegaaza n'ebirala ono sipiika mulamba mu ggwanga eryo ggwanga ddene nnyo ne mu ikonomi okutusinga wano nibagamba nti niwakubadde sipiika ate sipiika wa kibiina ekiri mu gavumenti ekya ANC niye bali mumunoonyerezaako kubanga nga bwe bafunye amawulire nti yafuna enguzi ya $12,000 ate nno munaye bwogerageranya sente ezo zino ffe zetwogerako mu ofiisi ya sipiika n'ebirala ezaawana ate empitirivu nnyo Kyekikulaga nti wali alina kubeera waggulu w'amateeka. Yes, South Africa kituukiridde nnyo naye n'ebizibu byayo, naye bagamba nti sipiika tulina bye twamuwuliddeko bali mu kumunoonyerezaako. Abaffe sipiika owaffe ye lwaki takwatibwako? Munene atya. Tugamba nti nedda ey'ofiisi gy'alimu y'Abannayuganda ne ssente z'akozesa z'Abannayuganda, twagala anoonyerezebwe.
I think so. Members, I think we first have questions in English.
They can ask the same. I'll respond and ask.
Yeah. I think all of you asked in
Thank you so much, Lord, for the opportunity. My name is Dominic Control with Elder Union. One, I request you clarify on the dates when you wrote the speaker and the different entities. The dates are not so clear. And then, do you have a timeline within which you expect these agencies to respond to your request in the different letters that you have written? Two, you talked of employees who are irregularly hired at Parliament here. According to your sources, how many are these employees that have been irregularly hired to work in Parliament? And lastly, it's about evidence. We witnessed your presentation and submission last time Parliament sat a few days ago. And in response, the Speaker said, these allegations have been put on social media, and therefore you don't have enough time to respond to them. May I know how you have obtained? How can we trust the sources that gave you these documents? Can you clarify on that so that we get to know that even if she denies them, the sources that have given you the documents are authentic? And the very last honorable law is about the investigation processes in this country seem not to yield much when it comes to the powers that be. How confident are you that these entities will respond appropriately to the letters that you have written to them? Thank you so much.
Yes, I mean, members, let's have at most 2 questions.
Thank you. One of my questions you have asked, I want to know on the question of the donations, there's a bigger picture of several of the top government officials having big budgets, especially on donations. Why don't you address it as well? Perhaps we would also want to know if your budget has donations. The other thing, since we are speaking about accountability, the allegations of officers in the office of the leader of opposition paying about 500,000 shillings to the party. Is that true?
Thank you. My name is Derek Ondero. Yeah, I think it ties a little bit to his question, the last question. You have already cast doubt on the Auditor General's efficiency to lead in investigating this matter, and you've written not only to him but also to other investigative arms of government. And we have also heard and seen the Speaker saying that the government is behind her. What happens if they hit a dead end? Do you have a scapegoat? Do you have plan B for that? Two, I wanted to just know, because you've been getting comments as you've been submitting about when you refunded the money that was sent to your account. You just like to get a little bit the nitty-gritty of the date and times. Thank
you. Look, you have run to these government agencies, and some Ugandans do not trust them. why it has been done.
Any other questions?
Look, I have a question. The same people have been on X during this exhibition at Parliament. Recently, they raised some questions on some of your members. The case in point is Honorable Kayimba, that he also took per diem from different boards, and they did put in some documents. Have you talked to them? How true is that?
Any other question? Uganda? Look, I think we can respond to this.
Okay. Dominic asked many questions. So you want all these as well translated to Uganda? Dominic, you want Uganda na kati otegedde otya kinkubuuliza. Okay. That's when I wrote to the speaker. I need to get I'll get that letter. I'll share it with you people. When I wrote to her, but her response was 12th March, days after I had written to her. That's regarding the commissioner. The commission, when I was asking for her to convene commission meetings, how many employees were regularly recruited? According to our sources, it's over 200. But when you read the Auditor General's report, he talks about 105 employees who are unidentified. That's in the Auditor General's report. So, and that's why we are saying we need a thorough investigation to get to the bottom of these issues, so that we get the factness of everything. Once a proper and biased investigation is carried out, we'll get to the bottom of these issues. Issues of social media. The speaker said these are social media allegations, they don't warrant a response. The speaker has on 2 occasions sent the Honorable Francis Zake to the disciplinary committee, Rules and Discipline Committee, over social media matters, twice, and is still, battling those issues. So why was it okay then, and it's not okay now? So that time she trusted social media too much. Now she's saying social media can go to hell. You see, you can't have your cake and eat it. But also what's important is that the spokesperson of Parliament, Mr. Chris Obori, has been speaking a lot, and has acknowledged a couple of these issues. Okay? For example, the contract for Bukedia, Mama Bukedia FM, the speaker's radio station, his response was, there are many pre-qualified radio stations. It's not just Mama Bukedia FM. So he was not denying that this contract is factual. But his response was, there are many others. So we pick among the pre-qualified ones. Why was Mama Bukedia picked? And also, how is it that staff in the office of the speaker are the one signing as managers of her radio station? But yes, we have also asked the Auditor General, because we have a right to information, in one of the letters that we written to him, to provide all these authenticated documents, so that no one finds an excuse. But like I'm saying, these are not, whoever has been speaking, whether it be Chris Obori and so on, they're not denying the factness of these issues. Even the speaker is not denying them. She's simply saying, homosexuals are fighting me, Kadaga is fighting me, and I don't know who. You respond to these issues. Because if they are false, you say, I did not go to Nairobi, or to Turkey, or to Kigali, or I did not receive that money. What's hard about saying that? But now you blame this one, you blame the other one, you're running away from the real issues, because she knows they are correct anyway. How confident am I about entities that reached out to? Well, we are putting them on the test as well, because these are legally provided for entities. They have a clear mandate. So we are tasking them on behalf of the people of Uganda to execute their mandate. In a sense, they're also on trial. They are on the test. Let's see if they'll execute their mandate without fear or favor. Shamim, question of donations, why not address them all? There are many problematic expenditures. Some other times we have talked about the budget of State House and the President's office, talked about classified expenditures, which we know are not so classified as such. This is money they use for their own whatever, because they know they can't account for it, yeah? So there's numerous things. Sometimes you want to deal with what is on your plate at the moment, so that there are not too many things that we need to deal with. So many in this country, numerous, yeah? But this is at hand right now. Let's deal with it. And again, I've had some people saying, why are you only going up to the Speaker's office? There's many other corruption, happenings in this country. In fact, the IGG said we lose over 10 trillion shillings to corruption every year. This is only a fraction of it. Well, at least we have evidence about this one. So we are going to pursue it to its logical conclusion. Staff in the LOP's office paying some money to the party, I don't have information to that effect. If anything, which staff? Because the staff, their contracts were not renewed as of 30th January. So they don't have contracts. So which money would they be paying to the party? But nonetheless, I don't have information to that effect because their staff or partner. And that's why, anyhow, we were saying let their contracts be renewed because they have been operating here. Derek, what happens if investigations hit a snag? Well, because you see, we're not going to fold our hands and say we are going to do nothing. We have to do something that's provided for within the law. That's why we are asking these questions on the floor of Parliament, in the media. That's why we are writing to all these entities. We are saying we shall use every avenue available to us. Okay, we shall not live by fear. That what if it doesn't succeed? What if it does? Well, what if it succeeds? Okay, but even then, if it is not to succeed, it should not be because we have not tried or because we have not played our part. Because we have a mandate to keep the government in check. So let's execute our mandate so that if nothing happens, it will not be because we have not executed our mandate. You did ask about refunding the money. Emoluments normally come in about halfway the month, so that is last week, and that's when I noticed this money was not deducted. That's when I said, now I'm not going to wait for April, because they told me since it's not deducted March, then it will be deducted April. I said, no, I'll not wait, which is my right also. I mean, I could have said, okay, let me wait the deduct April, it would still be legal, but I said, now that I've discovered, so last week that we got the emoluments and the money has not been deducted, I don't want it to stay longer with me. Why should? So the total, let me get for you the total. That I refunded unspent for trip to Nairobi for 4 days, 12,288,000 shillings. That's what I refunded for the 4 days. Why run to government entities? Somebody else did ask. I have talked about that because they are legally in place. They have a mandate. They have budgets which are appropriated by Parliament to do this job. So we are asking them to do their job. We are not asking them for any favor. Yeah. Then the issue of the Honorable Kayemba, I have yet to pick that. But the good thing about the way information flows, maybe we shall see about many other people. Yeah, so that's why I keep telling colleagues, let's be careful. So these have not gotten that information yet, but it would be good to get it as well, so that we see what's happening there. But bottom line is, do not keep quiet about anybody. Yeah, regardless who, and that's why we're even going after some of our own, so that it's not seen as, okay, you guys are after people in government, but you in the opposition, are you clean? Well, where there is issues in our backyard as well, we've got to address those issues. Quickly, Muruganda, Dominic, Yabuziza, baluwa ya sipiika naki sipiika namuwandiikira era nanziramu ennaku z'omwezi 12 March ng'agamba nti commission tegenda kutuula ajja kutuula eyo nga tumaliriza June eyo. Of course ekyo nze ngamba kikyamu, mwaka teguyinza kuwera nga commission tetuula nga bwe mbannyonnyodde. Sipiika tayinza gamba nti yajja tuulanga nga commission lwaffe. Abakozi bameka betuwulira abali wano mu bukyamu, information gye tufuna eraga nti basukka mu 2. Naye bw'osoma Auditor General's Report agamba ye yalaba 15 abatategeereka abali unidentified nga bwe yakiwandiika mu ripooti ye. N'ekyo obudoola batugamba wabeerewo okunoonyereza okulambulukufu obulungi. Okay, so that tutegeerera ddala ekituufu kyeki ku nsonga zino. Ensonga ya social media, Speaker agamba nti zino ensonga za social media tezirimu nnyo makulu, tajja kugoberera biri ku mitimbagano. Honorable Zaake ow'ekitiibwa Speaker yakamusindika mu komiti ya Rules and Discipline eya Honorable Katumpe emirundi ebiri ku bintu byajje ku mitimbagano ku social media. Kakati bw'aba agamba nti social media terina makulu, lwaki yatambulira ku bintu byagamba byalaba ku social media okusindika Honorable Zaake mu Rules Committee ne bamugoba ne mu kifo kye mu ngeri emenya amateeka ku bintu ebyaba ku social media. Kakati Speaker kyagezaako okugamba nti waliwo ebimu ebibeera ku social media byajja kugoberera, ebirala tajja bigoberera. Tuleme ate kwebuzaabuza. Ddamu ensonga ze nnyini. Gamba nti kale mugamba nti nagenda e Nairobi wanafuna ssente bwe tisaazifuna. Kyoba oddamu ekyo mu kifo ky'okwebuzaabuza, ate simanya abali b'ebisiyaga banwana, ate owekitiibwa Kadaga nwana, ate kati social media. Ddamu bye tukubuuzizza. Okay, ugambe nti ssente ezo saazifuna oba kino si kituufu mu kifo ky'okwekwasa general. Bulungi nti n'ensonga ezimu tulisobola yogerera Parliament azogeddeko ng'azikiriza nga tazeegaana. Kati nga contract eno ya radio ya owekitiibwa Speaker yabaye n'agamba nti radio ya Speaker yokka si ye tulina olukalala olwazi radio zetulina okuwa contracts. Radio ya Speaker si ye yokka nti waliwo n'endala naye ku luno bajjamu eya Speaker. Kati tekyegaana. Naye tugamba nti kaakati mutunnyonnyole. So Speaker aleme kwebuzaabuza, ddamu ensonga ze tukubuuza bwe ziba nga si ntuufu oba ki. Naye nga bwe mbagambye nti ne Auditor General tumuwandiikidde ate records zino eziri authentic ezijja otambulirwako n'abanoonyereza naki ku nsonga zino. Neesiga ebitongole bino byetuwandiikidde binatuukiriza bye tubasabye okukola. Well, nabo tubatadde ku minzaani kubanga kye tubasaba okukola kiri mu mateeka, buvunaanyizibwa bwabwe. Obaweebwa emisaala buli mwezi, baweebwa ssente ze tuyisaano mu Parliament. So kye tubasaba okukola tutuukiriza buvunaanyizibwa bwabwe okunoonyereza ku nsonga zino. Tewali kyamaanyi nnyo kye tubasaba kukola oba ekitali mu mateeka oba kye batasobola kukola. Nedda bye tubasaba byonna biri mu mateeka, birambulukufu bulungi era nga nabo tubatadde ku minzaani. Tulabe oba naatuukiriza obuvunaanyizibwa bwabwe oba nedda. Shamimu yabuuzizza ku nsonga za donations n'ebirala, ebintu bingi ebitategeerekeka. Juzi twali twogera wano ku budget ya President's Office ne State House ng'olaba mpitirivu bitategeerekeka, tulina zino ziclassified ntabalika trillions ate ng'ezo tezitakola kulondoolebwako. Okay, so bingi bitulina okusigala nga tunokolayo. Naye mu kaseera kano nga tuli ku kino ekya Parliament era nga twagala tukiremereko paka nga n'endala nazo bwe tujja nsonga endala ez'enjawulo, kubanga oluusi bw'okwata ebintu bingi awo kakati ebimu bibulira awo ne byekweka mu birala ebingi. Katugamba nti kino kyekiri mu ddiiro, twagala kisookere nakyo kive mu ddiiro. N'ezindi endala tuze tuzoogerako era nga tujja ziddamu, naye kati eno ensonga yeri mu ddiiro. Era titwagala waliwo ababuzaabuza nti kaakati lwaki mwogera ku ya Speaker yokka. IGG agamba nti buli mwaka tufiirwa obutabalika 10 trillion 10. Ate eza Speaker ze mwogerako ntono nnyo ku ezo. Kaakati ku buno obutabalika 10 buli we tusanga obuzibu nga tulemerako nti kaakati zino zitunnyonnyolebwe tuzitegeere obulungi. Ayogedde ku bakozi mu ofisi ya LOP nti abawaayo akasente kibiina bijja wasibimanyi munange zinga LOP, ate n'abakozi nabo tebakyali wano. kubanga contracts zaabwe zaggwako baagaana okuziza obujja. So kaakati sibitegeera byogerako munnange. David yabuuziza, yes, investigations zitatambulira bwe tusuubira, nga bwe mbagambye nti bino ebitongole ffe tubitadde ku miizaani era nga tubisaba bituukirize obuvunaanyizibwa bwabyo obuli mu mateeka. Katulinde tulabe oba banaakikola. Ssente ze nazzaayo batera okutuwa omusaala gwaffe wakati w'omwezi awo wewati era wiiki ewedde nafuna notification nendaba nga ssente tebazigyeko neŋŋamba nti ate kakati kikibo process yalwawo bajja zitema ku musaala gwa Apuli. Neŋŋamba sigenda kulinda Apple, kwe kujjayo ssente nenzitwala. Of course naligambye nti kaninde Apple tikirina buzibu, nti ssente nali nzibbye oba kibazi processing ne bakubadde nabagamba nja kubeerayo olunaku lumu era nga kati balina okuzidetactinga mbawadde boarding passes n'accountability omulala. Naligambye kale oba temuzigyeko mwezi guno kaninde Apple tewali buzibu, basirina musango bweziziza. Naye nagamba nti sagala omuntu yenna akikozese propagandist naki kanzitwaleyo bampe risiiti yange. Lwaki tuddukira ebitongole bya gavumenti ekyo think nkizeemu ensonga ya Oweekitiibwa Kayemba sinnagipiikinga bulungi, sinnafuna biwandiiko ebyo naye obaoliawo tunabifuna. Tetugenda kukira liiso omuntu yenna n'omu. Okay, era atuwoninga bannaffe nti ensonga za accountability buli omu bijja kutuuka ku mulyango gwo. Oba oli wa NRM oba oli opposition muvudde mulala n'abafa abamu nabo tugamba nti newankubadde oli waffe n'ensonga zino twagala oziddemu. Mwebale nnyo, mwebale ddala.
Wadde ebbanga ki okubeera nga bikoze alipoota zaabwe?
Well, kizibu okugamba nti obiwadde ebbanga ki, naye twagala okulaba nga bitandise bitulage nti bitandise mbagirawo. Okay, so kizibu okugamba nti tubawadde ebbanga lino kubanga ebyokunoonyereza bingi biyitirivu, naye twagala balage bannayuganda nti batandise okunoonyereza. Bannayuganda baddemu essuubi kale kati awo batandise then era basigala batuwa update nti kati wakafuna kino wano wekituuse era wayetaawo kabanga tubabuuze nti kakati bannange ki ekigenda mu maaso. So twagala batandike mbagirawo okunoonyereza ku nsonga zino. Ati ndowooza nebwente
LOP onzikiriza nange naye ekibuuzo kimu wano kubanga ndabye
kwagala okubuuza buuze tukasa tubuuzazi
ndabye bannamawulire wano nga bakusoyasoya ebibuuzo. Waliwo ku bannamawulire wano abakola wano ku Parliament abali wano naffe abakolera Mama Bukedia FM. Ebyo ebibuuzo byezzeemu Mama Bukedia teweereza wano ku Parliament. Thank you.
Eriakuiditeti era ripota bayo arikabisibwa mu mateeka
Balipota bali mu komiti.
Thank you.